So I recently did a 100-hour fast or a 4-day fast, and it was fascinating. And I documented the entire journey on Instagram. So I thought I would make one compiled video and share it on YouTube as well. This is again me experimenting with myself. This is not a challenge. I don't want you to do this unless you're completely ready for this. So listen to the whole video, listen right up till the end where I'm talking about day 4 and how I felt and what are the cautions that you should keep in mind. If you like content like this and videos like this, please don't forget to hit subscribe and share it with your friends who speak about fasting, are scared about it, or are just addicted to food and don't know what to do with themselves. Okay, I'm Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach, and join me on this journey. So, I'm doing a 100-hour fast. That means a little bit more than 4 days. And I think I've goofed up on the timing because my last meal was at 10 o'clock on Sunday night. Monday's over. So that means that I'll end up finishing my 100 hours at Friday 3 in the morning or something like that. So I think I've goofed up on the numbers. So I'll probably end up having more than 100 hours of a fast. But when I put this out on Instagram, everyone went mad because they're saying, why are you doing a fast? Don't you know that you're already so skinny? Why are you trying to lose more weight? What is the purpose of this? Won't you feel low? Won't you feel weak? And all sorts of questions like that kept coming to people's minds. So the thing is that I've been doing these kinds of fasts for the last, 2 years, 3 years. Every 4 months or 6 months, I do anything between 3 days and 5 days of a fast. For the last 5 months, I haven't done a fast because of this whole Corona COVID situation. I didn't want my immunity to drop. But I realized that now that things have finally stabilized, I am fairly secure outside the city, I thought I might as well get my fast in. So why do we do a long-term fast like this? The most important reason is something called autophagy. Now, what is autophagy? Autophagy is the way your body eats up cells that have stopped working. You see, when we're constantly supplying our body with food, what's happening is that the body is not running out of resources. So as a result, cells in our body that have stopped working continue to thrive because they're still getting resources. So the body is like, poor things, let them run, let them run, let them run. However, those are the cells that slowly start becoming problems. They could become tumors, they could become cancerous, all sorts of things could happen to them. They could affect the way that our body functions. So as a result, getting rid of those senescent cells, senile cells, basically cells that have stopped working, is very important. And the way we do that is through a process called fasting. I'm going to be drinking primarily water, maybe a coffee, maybe a tea if I feel like it, but apart from that, nothing else. And what this does is that your body gets deprived of nutrients and hence starts eating itself up for those nutrients. Now, it might sound scary, autophagy, eating self, but it's actually a good process because what it's doing is it's eating the bad cells, the senescent cells. Okay? So that is why I am doing this. I am not doing this from a fat loss perspective or a weight loss perspective. Don't do that. Just stick to intermittent fasting for that. I think it works beautifully. Once in a while, do a 24-hour fast. That also works beautifully for making sure that your insulin levels become, not insulin levels, but your insulin quality improves. You become less insulin resistant. Now, how am I going to do this? There is a plan and a structure to these 4 days, right? It is not that I will just decide one day, I'll do this and let's see what happens. So, which is why I have not asked anybody to do this with me. I'm not calling this a 4-day challenge, nothing. This is a routine thing for me to do. But how you go through this process is what is important, and that is what I want to share with you through this video series. So I thought I'd record one video every day, or maybe 2 videos depending on how I'm feeling, to let you know what's happening, what is an update, and join me on this journey. And if you enjoy this, think about doing your own long-term fast. Start with 1 day, go to 2 days, go to 3 days, go to 4 days, and slowly start improving from there. So I'm going to shut this video now, and I'm going to tell you what I did on the first day, and then I'm going to tell you how I'm dealing with the second day. Okay, so how do you plan for a long-term fast like what I'm doing right now? It's very easy. You have to learn about how your body functions. And you have to read up a lot about fasting. So don't just take what you listen to the internet or my word for it even. Do your own research so you know what you're doing. Now, why do we fast and what is happening? Our job in a fast is to get to a state of ketosis as fast as possible. Now, what is ketosis? Ketosis is when your body stops using the sugar because it's running out of sugar, stop using the glycogen because it's running out of glycogen, and then starts using the fat that is stored in the body. Now, what's interesting is that our fat cells are stores of different things. They not only store fat in the form of energy, but they also store toxins. So a large part of what we're going to do is releasing toxins into the system as we fast. Now, this might sound dangerous, and it is, unless you do it the right way. The other thing that happens when you fast is that ketone bodies are produced. Now, ketone bodies are what people who are doing a keto diet are looking for. Now, what happens when you're on a keto diet is that your body's fat breaks down to form fuel that you can use for energy. Now, when you're doing this process, it's a much cleaner form of energy than glucose. There isn't so much oxidative stress on the body as a result of this process. So it's important to get into a state of ketosis every few months just to keep the body aware of actually how to use ketones and how to use its fats. So it's interesting that your body has to create the machinery needed to burn fat. People who are fat, who've been using sugar, glucose, carbohydrates as a major fuel source, cannot burn fat easily because their body doesn't know how. So through the process of fasting, where we reduce our insulin levels, we teach our body that there is more to energy than just glucose and sugar. You can actually use the fat that is there. Okay, so I know that was a long-winded answer to this, but when you come to the actual crux of it, what am I doing on day one? I am going to do a very heavy workout right in the beginning. What is this workout designed to do? It's designed to deplete all my glycogen stores in my muscles. It is designed to lower my blood sugar level as much as possible so that the liver then regulates the blood sugar coming in. And this way I'm using up all the excess glycogen that is stored, all the excess carbs or glucose that you want to call it in your system, so that you get into that state of ketosis much faster on this fasting protocol. So on my first day, when I woke up in the morning, remember I had started my fast at about 10 o'clock in the night on Sunday. So Monday morning, I did a nice long 1.5 hour workout where I was using weights and I was doing a little bit of intensity. Now, what is the idea of using weights and intensity? Both these are glycogen using exercises. These are basically when you want to be in your anaerobic state. This is when your body is using the energy that is already stored in it. Now, what's interesting is that you have to keep a big gap between that exercise. The way I would do it is I would do an intense exercise for say 12 reps or 15 reps, and then I would take about 2 minutes of a break, because I don't want it to get into that situation where I have to pant or breathe heavily. I just want my muscles to work and use up that energy that's there instead of getting into a cardiovascular state, which is completely different, which is why we will not be doing any cardio type of movements on this fasting protocol. So that's the first thing that I would do on day one. Then through the day, what I did was I sipped water. I think I had 1 green tea and 1 black coffee. I was just feeling it, so I had it. What's interesting is that you don't feel low energy on this day, especially if you're used to fasting. If you're used to intermittent fasting, you don't feel low energy. You can function perfectly fine. Towards the end, your body starts missing the meal timings. So as a result, distract yourself during the meal timings. Go for a walk, do something when you would typically feel those first hunger pangs coming on. Now what you do is you finished about 24 hours by about 10 o'clock in the evening, go to sleep. And that's it. It's a very peaceful first day. Now day 2 is when all the drama starts, and that's what I'm going to tell you about in the next video. Okay, so I'm currently on my day 2 and I thought I'd record all the videos together, so that's why I'm in the same t-shirt, same camera angle and everything. But tomorrow onwards it'll change, of course. Now, day 2 is the interesting one. Day 2 is your make or break time, because what I've found in the past is day 2 is normally the hardest. This is when your hunger hormone ghrelin is going to go all the way up saying, Abhay, feed me. Why are you not feeding me? What is wrong with you? Okay, this is when you're going to start feeling that slight, that heavy-headedness. This is when your ketosis is moving from a low ketosis level to a higher ketosis level. This is also when your human growth hormone levels are peaking and increasing. So this dictates the kind of exercise that you do, and this also dictates the kind of work that you plan for yourself and the way that you slowly ease in to the day. What's going to happen is in the morning, like today, what I did was I did a large muscle building workout. So something that has to do with hypertrophy. It's not a function of, but where are your proteins going to come from? None of that, because your body is recycling proteins, right? So what happens is when this process starts off, you start feeling a little bit, sluggish, lethargic, but then suddenly the energy starts coming back in. And that switch is what we're looking for. So during day 2 is when you're going to feel sluggish, you're going to feel low, you're going to feel like giving up, you're going to feel like saying, what is the point? All those thoughts are going to start coming in. Day 2 is also when all your food cravings are suddenly going to pop up. The kitchen is suddenly going to start smelling much nicer than it normally does. And this is going to start playing on your mind and on your psychology. So be careful of day 2. But what's interesting is once you pass day 2, day 3 is like a breeze. You won't even realize that you're fasting. You won't even think of food, because now your body has realized that it's not getting any. So then why torture you in the process? Now, for people who've never done a 36-hour fast or longer, do a 24-hour fast first. Then move to something like a 48-hour fast, which is 2 days. So try this out. Don't quickly jump into something heavy. Remember, this is not a challenge, okay? Which is why I have not put it up as a challenge. This is my journey. So far, what I've done is I've had hot water in the morning. I've had 1 coffee in the morning. I've had lots of water, and I've done my exercise. I finished about 3 hours of work, and I think it's 12:30 now. It's going to be about 1 o'clock. So lunchtime is happening. And what I've done is I've set up a meeting smack at 1 o'clock. So through the meeting, I'm going to be in my lunchtime mode. Hence, I'm going to be busy. So I will not be thinking about food. For me, that 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock is the time when my body starts wanting to eat something. So what I've done is I've set up another meeting for 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, so that I'm distracted again, that I'm not sitting around saying, where is the food, where is the food, where is the food? So start being smart about the way you approach your food, about the way that you approach your fasting, and you'll see a dramatic change in it. Remember, this is not a sprint, so you can't use determination, motivation. You have to teach your body. This is a long-term process. 4 days, right? 100 hours. It's a long thing. So you have to pace yourself out, ease your way in. People will tell you you're mad. Well, that's part of life, isn't it? Okay, so now I'm on day 3 of the 100-hour fast. That is about a little bit more than 4 days. And day 2 was surprisingly okay, but day 3 was killer. It was just hunger, hunger, hunger. I felt lightheadedness. That is normal. So I didn't do any exercise on day 3 because I was listening to my body. I was saying, fine, if it's not feeling up to it, why push it? So day 3 was like that. What I did on day 3 was I added turmeric tea to my mix. So earlier on, I was having coffee or green tea. This time I added turmeric tea, which is basically turmeric, a little pepper, and a dash of ghee just to make the curcumin absorbed in the body. This is because I was reading a book, and in that, when we're talking about autophagy, which is, remember what I spoke about, how does the body eat itself up to try and replenish itself, to revive itself, to heal itself. Turmeric is a very important part in this autophagy process that happens in the body. So which is why turmeric tea was something that I started drinking. It helped me a lot because there was a little bit of fat that was coming in. So it helped me out, stabilize, and I started feeling much, much, much better. Overall, there was still a little bit of fogginess. I did not have too many meetings. I tried to move all the meetings towards the weekend so that I could then focus on healing myself, taking a break, and understanding what my body is feeling. Now, what happened at this point on day 3 is the smells from the kitchen just drove me mad. It was just like wafts of yummy food that was coming in, and then I started watching a show on TV, on Netflix, and they were eating pizza on that show. And now I haven't eaten pizza in ages. All I wanted to do was eat pizza. And the mind plays these kinds of tricks on you. It's crazy how it feels at this point of time. But as you can see, no low energy. I'm doing fine. I wrote a podcast. I had 3 meetings, I think. And yeah, it was perfect. Now day 4, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do and how I'm going to break my fast. Alright, now day 4 of the 100-hour fast or 4-day fast. And in the morning, fairly peaceful. Actually woke up feeling really, really good. There was absolutely no sense of heavy head, brain fog, none of that. I was feeling very, very nice, energetic. So guess what I did? I put on my clothes and I did a small workout. And I finished writing another podcast. I had 2 meetings and the day is going very, very well. I'm sticking to the turmeric tea. So I'm having a little bit of turmeric tea. Yesterday I had 2 of those. Today I'm going to have 1 and probably 1 later on in the evening. Now, on day 4, what's important is how do you break your fast? I got a lot of questions about that. So when you're breaking your fast, you have to think about 3 primary things. One is, can you make it as low carb, high fat as possible? So you want to extend the ketosis period as far as possible. The second is, can you also add something that's going to help with your autophagy? And the third thing is, can you add something that is not spicy? Correct? I remember the first time I did a 3-day fast, and I was at the farm here with my parents, and they were eating so much yummy food that when I broke my fast, I ate everything. There was almost no thought on whether I should eat this or not. I just went completely mad. Now this time I'm not going to be doing that because I've learned from my mistakes. There's no point you being healthy, eating healthy, and then coming back and just going yum, 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 to everything, correct? So taking it slow. The way I'm going to break my fast is 100 hours ends at 2:30 in the morning, unfortunately. So I'm clearly not going to be staying awake and eating at 2:30 in the morning. So what I've decided to do is at 10:30 p.m., which is when I had my last meal on Sunday. So that's going to be exactly 4 days. I'm going to have soup. So the soup is going to be made out of chicken broth, so bone broth, which is very good because it lines your stomach and heals it. The second thing I'm going to add to this is partially cooked cauliflower that I'm going to puree. So the cauliflower has sulforaphane and other nutrition that is going to help again boost autophagy. And it does not have too many carbs. It's not going to necessarily have a big insulin response. So I'm perfectly fine with that. And finally, I'm going to add a lot of turmeric to that. So the turmeric again is going to improve that autophagy reaction that's taking place in my body. And 10 o'clock, I'm going to have that. I'm going to have maybe a mug of soup. I'll put it up. And then next morning at around 8 o'clock or 8:30, I'm going to break my fast with a nice akuri. So I'm going to have the soup again for lining the stomach in the morning. And I'm going to have an akuri. Akuri is basically a Parsi egg dish. It's absolutely yummy. I'm going to pour lots of olive oil on it. I'm not going to have bread. I'm not going to have rotis along with it. And I'm going to finally, I can imagine, actually I can taste it right now. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. Okay, so that's how I'm going to think about breaking my fast. And whenever you do a long fast, plan your meals out in advance, because what happens is that you lose track of it. And 2 hours before you're going to break your fast, I'm telling you, your brain just starts counting down the minutes. And you're going to be like, oh, I can't wait. And at that point of time, if you decide what you're going to eat, you're going to eat junk. So plan it ahead and make sure you feed your body well after a fast. It's called refeeding. So refeed your body well. Don't do this fasting unless you're sure about your 1-day fasts, your 2-day fasts. There are times during the day when you'll wake up and you will feel a little dizzy and you might want to hold on to a wall, or you might just say, okay, I need to sit down for a bit. That is normal. my blood pressure drops, my blood sugar drops. So that is the way that your body will react. Now, be careful about this. Don't get off the bed and start walking around, because typically that's when it happens. When you get off the bed in a jerk and you start walking, be careful. Don't do these long hour fasts unless you've been doing the shorter ones and are comfortable doing them. Work from 1 day to 2 days to 3 days and finally to 4 days. Don't do it in a hurry, please. Okay. Having said which, practice fasting. It is one of the best ways of healing yourself. It is one of the best ways of getting the junk out of your body. And add this to your routine. Every 6 months, a 2-day fast or a 3-day fast, and you're going to see a world of difference right on your face. Actually, people keep asking me, what's the secret? Why does your face look so clean? And the simple idea is that the fasting really, really helps. The fasting plus the no sugar changes the way that your body feels and your body appears. So try this out and let me know how you think.